So I've ridden the Stumpy 10 or 11 times now, and I think I'm ready to give it a proper review or update on how things are going for me. So as you can tell from my last video, I've been loving this bike. I've completely neglected my cross-country bike, the Specialized Camber. I realized when I introduced this bike, I didn't fully explain why I got this one versus the Epic that I was interested in, another cross-country bike. Where I live, there's just not a lot of cross-country riding. What we have around here are just mostly steeps, gnarlier, more technical riding, and so I needed a trail bike. I needed a bike that could get me through those types of trails more confidently than my Camber was. And I chose to get the Evo because I wanted to really maximize the difference from my Camber, which is 130 mil travel front and rear. The Evo, just has more aggressive geometry and beefier suspension. So I really wanted a bike that I could have to tackle some really steep, gnarly stuff versus my Camber, which I want to keep to ride more fitness loops, cross-country loops. I want to start by sharing how I feel it rides overall, and naturally I want to compare it to my Camber. Let's just say I can go a lot faster on the downhills. I made a post on my Instagram sharing out a video of me riding a trail that I've ridden many times, like over 50 times now. There was some point along the way on my Camber that I felt like I was getting really good at the trail. And then all of a sudden I started getting scared and I started being really nervous about riding that trail. And it occurred to me that maybe I was reaching the limits of my bike. There were times where I would just feel a little bit out of control more than I liked, and the bike would be twitchy, things like that. My bike was maybe not really meant to be ridden the way I was trying to ride it. Now with the Stumpy, I can go a lot faster, I can brake a lot harder. I feel just so much more confident. Of course, I did share that climbing is really hard. It still is. I've gotten a bit more used to it, and I think I was having a lot of trouble probably because I was recovering from being sick. My breathing wasn't really great, and now, especially these last few rides, I've been feeling a lot better. But it's still hard. I mean, maybe if I were to have started on a bike like this, maybe I wouldn't complain as much. I think it was just a really big shock to my system going from my cross-country bike for 2.5 years, and then jumping onto this was just, whew. I really can't complain. The downhills are way more fun, and I am so happy with this bike, even though climbing kind of sucks. So this is their smallest size, the S1 or extra small, and you might know that Stumpies have adjustable geometry, but we didn't change any of that. It's still set up stock, so with a 64.5 degree head tube angle, and the bottom bracket is still set to high. I want to go through the different components one by one so I can share my thoughts on each of them. But before we do, I want to share my own specs. I am a little bit over 5 feet tall, so like 5'1" with shoes. I have an inseam of about 28 inches, and I probably weigh 120 pounds with gear. Let's start with the wheels, because that is what worried me the most when I got this bike. I know, being my height on 29ers sounds really silly to everybody, but surprisingly it's been fine. I've actually really been enjoying it. I have bumped my butt a few times, but I think I could just work on my own body positioning to kind of avoid that. Honestly, I know I'm still working on cornering, but I feel like it corners way better than my Camber did. I know part of that probably is more so the tires. So these are still obviously the stock tire setup, and boy, I'm loving it. There is so much grip. I haven't felt scared, I think, ever on my rides due to slipping or anything. We cut down the handlebar to just under 750 millimeters with these grips, the deities, and I've loved it. I think the width is perfect. I don't feel like it's too wide or too narrow, which is such a relief because this is a carbon handlebar. So yeah, it feels great. Before I even took it out on its first real ride, I felt like the handlebar height was way too high for me. So before, I think it was set up with just 1 spacer above the stem and 5 below, and we decided to just reverse it. So I've been riding with 5 spacers above, one below the stem, and it's been working. I feel like it feels fine, but I think one day I will test it out and swap out the spacers just to see if there's a better position for me. Now the brakes. First couple of rides, I really didn't like them, but I think they just weren't bedded in yet. So ever since then, I've gotten really comfortable. I'm really used to them. I don't mind how they feel. I know I thought I also really liked Shimano a lot better, but these are solid. They feel great. And I do hate that warble though. So I know I mentioned in one of my last videos that I've had some issues with the axis shifting, but that really has kind of gone away. I really do love it. I think it's pretty awesome, though it's really not a necessity. It's more of a luxury piece, if anything. The battery life has been really awesome though. I think after maybe 7 rides or so, I went to go charge the battery just in case, and it took like 30 minutes to reach full charge. So yeah, battery lasts really long, it looks like. The suspension is seriously so soft and so plush. I'm using a lot more travel than I'm used to, which is really awesome. We set it up to basically factory settings with the lowest weight on the chart. I can tell this bike could be super poppy and playful, but one day I'll get there. The dropper seat post has been awesome, no complaints with how it functions, but I'm running into an issue that I'm having on my other dropper seat post by P&W, where I want to set up the height to be high enough that I get really good extension while climbing, but then when I go to drop it for the downs, I want it to go even lower. So I don't know, we've toyed around with the idea of getting an even taller or longer seat post, but I just don't want to spend the money on that, so I'm just gonna deal with it. So far so good though. I don't really feel like the saddle gets in my way. I just mentally would like it a little bit lower, I think. So the last thing I want to share about is the pedals, since it's not something that comes with the bike. Yeah, these Yoshimura pedals have been amazing. I haven't had any issues with slipping or even clipping because these are a size large apparently. My feet are solid on there, though I can't really tell if it's just the shoes that I'm wearing. So I'll probably do another video on that later, testing that out. But yeah, love these pedals. The one thing I'm really sad about is that the coating started to rub off by like the 4th ride. Don't know how much more is going to continue to rub off. But other than that, loving the pedals. Yeah. I am so happy with this bike. I'm really glad I went with the Stumpy EVO. It's really helping me feel just so much more confident on the trails, and I'm definitely going to keep my camber for all of those fitness days. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one. Bye!
Whoa! Whoa! Oh my God!